Hey, it's good to see you. Remember that viral clip with Pokémon popping up in front of the cars? Over 1 million views on my Instagram and still counting. It's time to unveil the magic. Today I'll show you how to bring those elements to life in After Effects. I'm Mateusz Zawadka, also known as Mr. Drabby, and welcome to my channel. Here we're all about one thing, the intersection of cars and filmmaking, so get ready for car adventures, filmmaking tips and so much more. A quick reminder, have you mastered After Effects shortcuts from my previous tutorial? If not, you are walking when you could be sprinting through your edits. Check out that video to learn time-saving shortcuts that streamline your workflow, making complex edits a breeze, link on the right up corner. Also, we have that free PDF, so those shortcuts are always at your fingertips, boosting your efficiency and letting your creativity flow uninterrupted. Now that you've got your time-saving tip, let's jump back into our Pokémon adventure inside After Effects. To begin with tutorial, we need footage of the car which we'll be tracking and also footage of Pokémon on green screen. But if you don't have your own footage, you don't need to worry. All project files and footage are provided by me for you to experiment with. Just check out the link in the description to download those files. And you're all set to go to follow step by step or just forge your own creative path. Now let's launch the After Effects and start with creating a composition. We are going with 1080 by 1090-20, it's a vertical footage at 24 frames per second and the length of 5 seconds. Drag your car footage into the composition, pick the best segment for your edit and set your in and out points. Now it's time to stabilize our shot. Instead of warp stabilizer, I'm using the stabilize motion option, homing into its little detail on the ground. But before we start stabilizing, go to the tracker panel, click options and click that list on the bottom of the window and choose stop tracking at 95% of confidence. Every time confidence of tracker goes below 95%, it will stop tracking. Every time it stops, manually check if tracker is on its original place to keep it perfectly tracked. Continue tracking by pressing play button. Once tracked, create keyframes for position and scale at both ends of your composition, adjust to make sure everything fits snugly within the frame. Meanwhile, keep your projects tidy, trust me, it will save you a headache when things get more complex. Now it's time for main course of this tutorial. To set your Pokémon on the footage, we need to track camera on it. To do it, use track camera on tracker panel. Click it and on the effect controls hit advanced toggle. And ensure that detailed analysis is on. This will make your tracker more accurate and gives you more tracking points. Wait for it to do its thing. Now it's time to select the best spot for our Pokémon. Once it's finished, you will see many X marks on the footage. If you are not seeing tracking points, make sure the camera tracker effect is active. As you drag time indicator, you see that those markers are attached to parts of the shot. If you are missing for some trackers, you can experiment with different settings. In this particular shot, I'll choose variable zoom option and this will give us more tracking points on the floor. Choose the best points for where your Pokémon will stand. Select those points by clicking and dragging around the area. Once you selected those points, small target icon will appear. This will show you surface created by selecting specific points. Right-click on it and create a solid and a camera. This is where your Pokémon will anchor. And boom, now you have solid layer tracked and attached to your footage. Now as you drag time indicator, you see that created solid is locked into footage. If solid is very small, you can scale it up to make it more visible. Now it's time to pre-compose your solid layer. To do it, select this layer, press right mouse button and click pre-compose. Remember, name your layer and select options to leave all attributes in the composition. Let's tidy up our project and go into Pokémon layer. Now bring in your Pokémon footage, find the best action and set bottom of your Pokémon to the center of composition. Scale it as needed but keep it in the composition bounds. Now use keylight effect to remove the green screen. Select color picker and select green color on the preview. Make small adjustment on the screen balance option to fix some transparency and hue on keyed Pokémon. Pro tip from Mr. Drabby. I apply effects very quickly using a free handy tool called FX Console from Video Copilot. Just hit Ctrl plus space, search for your effect and hit enter to add it. Check out the description for the link, it's 100% free. Now it's time to create shadow. Duplicate your Pokémon layer for a shadow, make it black by adding fill effect and choose black color. Enable 3D for this layer, press R for rotation and change rotation of X-axis by 90 degrees. Use arrows on the preview to place your shadow underneath your Pokémon and adjust rotation on the X-axis as well. Press S for scale, unlock axis and make small adjustment on the X-axis so shadow fits layer above. Press T for opacity to change opacity between 60 and 80%. It depends on your footage, just try to compare your shadows with shadows on your footage. Now get back to your main composition. Change rotation of X-axis by clicking that small ball on the preview and drag it so the Pokémon is upwards. Make additional corrections for its position and you can also scale it up to fit it to your scene. In this particular example, I'll add keyframe on the rotation at the beginning and end and set it so the Pokémon is faced towards the camera for the whole time. You can move your Pokémon around, but not so far from original point. This will make that your Pokémon will stick to its place. Lastly, blend our Pokémon with footage. Add curves to your Pokémon layer, but you can also use contrast effect as well and slightly increase contrast on it. Do not hesitate to make your personal adjustment, sharpen, vibrance and whatever your creative instinct tells you. And that's a wrap, you just elevated your video with a dash of a Pokémon charm and all through the power of After Effects. All the project files, just hit the link in the description. I'd love to see what you came up with this tutorial, so share your masterpieces with the Emerdrabi Pokémon hashtag and also don't forget to leave a comment. Your feedback creates our content, so don't hold back. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with fellow filmmakers and don't forget to subscribe for more cinematic insights. Also my latest video up here. Until next time, happy editing!